everybody, my name is Natalia Leigh and I'm the author of the young adult novels Highborn, Way of Spears, and the hopefully soon to be released Song of the Dryad. I recently released a video that kind of let you guys know what was going on and the fact that I'm going to be self-publishing Song of the Dryad. And now that you guys know all about that, I'm really excited to dive into a bunch of videos detailing this process and sharing the journey to self-publication with you. So the first step to that is going to be my current self-publishing to-do list. Let's jump into it. So this is not going to be a self-pub checklist. I do have plans to film that video, but that will be in months to come because I want to make sure that I've gone through the entire process, I've done all of the things that are on my to-do list, and then I can more clearly lay out for you the timeline and the checklist that I actually went through. So for today, we are just going through my current to-do list for self-publishing Song of the Dryad. So I have my little sketch notebook here and I have my whole big long to-do list in here and I'm going to let you know what is currently on it. Alright, self-pub checklist. The first thing on my to-do list is to finish the 5th draft of Song of the Dryad. I just finished up chapter 13 today. I think I want to potentially try to tackle another chapter tonight. I want to edit chapter 14 as well if possible. I had originally planned to have the edits done by July 1st, but I've had to move that up just a couple of days for my editor, which I will be talking about shortly. So first thing on my to-do list is to finish the 5th draft. Alright, following up with finishing that 5th draft is going to be sending Song of the Dryad off to my editor. My editor would like to have it by June 29th so that she can work on it throughout the entire month of July. I am super excited about this because I've never formally worked with a professional freelance editor before. I am definitely going to be making videos in the future about how to find and work with a professional editor, so stay tuned for those if you're interested. Alright, now coming up after I have finished the edit letter and actually editing my book again so that it's the 6th draft, I will be moving forward with a cover design and interior format. Now, I do have some graphic design skills of my own and I have made all of my previous book covers, but for Song of the Dryad, I do feel that this is the first book I will be self-publishing in the most professional way possible. I have self-published 2 books before this, but I didn't really know what I was doing, to be perfectly honest, and this time around I'm trying to do everything kind of by the book. And that's kind of weird for me to say because I'm not the type of person that does things by the book. I like to find my own way to do things, but for this time around I am going to be working with a professional designer. I am super excited to see what she can come up with. I'm super excited to see the interior pages because I am hoping / planning on even getting some pictures in there for you guys because I love seeing pictures in novels. Not even just children's books, young adult novels. I like to see photos of the characters and of the settings, so it'd be sweet if I could get some of those in the book for you, but that is all kind of up in the air right now. I have not really discussed this with my interior formatter yet, but that is the 3rd thing on my to-do list. Alright, now those are some of the big things that I need to get done, and now we're going to dive into the smaller, detail-oriented business side of things. Now, these are not going to be listed in any particular order because here on my notebook, I don't have them listed out in any certain order. It was kind of just the order that I was thinking of them while I was jotting them down. So again, when I get my timeline / checklist video out, that will be broken down into, okay, 6 months before launch, 5 months before launch, 4 months before launch. Everything will be laid out in a timeline. But for the sake of this video, this is just going to be kind of all stirred together, all right? Okay, so the next thing on this list is a Library of Congress listing, and I'm going to go through the pre-assigned control number program. Now, when you look in the front of some of your favorite books, you might see that there is a block of text at the bottom of the copyright page, I believe, that says Library of Congress on it. And some of these books will have certain numbers with keywords classifying where these books would sit in a library or in a bookstore, and you actually have to like register for that and send your book to the Library of Congress. I think I will be making a video on this because I have to do more research. I've never done it before, but I want Song of the Dryad to be available to libraries and bookstores if they wanted to purchase it. And I believe that going through the Library of Congress and the pre-assigned control number program will allow me to do that. All right, coming up next is to purchase my ISBN numbers. Now, previously I did use CreateSpace assigned ISBN numbers because they were free and that's awesome. But I want to use my own ISBNs this time because I want to be the publisher. I actually have opened a publishing house. That's a thing that I will be talking about later on. But when you go through CreateSpace and you use their ISBN numbers, they are listed as the publisher of the book, and I don't want that. I want my publishing house to be listed as the publisher of my book, so I'm going to be buying a batch amount of ISBN numbers, and then I'll have to assign one to the different formats. So hardcover will have to have a certain ISBN, paperback will have to have a certain ISBN, so it's going to be a little bit pricey, but I want to buy a bundle of those so that I can also use them in the future for future books that I write. All right, next up is Ingram Spark setup. I would like to have hardcover copies of Song of the Dryad, so I have to go through Ingram Spark for that. I believe I saw somebody say that you can use Barnes & Noble for that, but that's just a whole other like messy thing that I don't want to deal with. So I'm going to hopefully be publishing through Ingram Spark and CreateSpace. And again, lots and lots of videos will be coming out once I can review each of those platforms and tell you a little bit more about how they work. All right, let's see. Copyright protection. Now, I need to do more research on this because my understanding is that everything that you write is already copywritten. It is copywritten to you, anything that you write. But I also believe that you can go for, like, you can actually submit your work for a copyright and it'll give you an extra layer of protection. Don't quote me on that because I'm not for sure, but I have heard this, I want to look into it, and that's something that would be really important to me, just to make sure that my work is safe and secure. Okay, next up, I want to do ARC copies and a blog/vlog tour this time around. I've never done that before. I will definitely be watching some of my fellow author tubers and their videos talking about how they went about sending out ARC copies, how they got into blogs, and like, I don't know a whole lot about it. I am going to be discovering this as I go along each step of the way, but that is something that I need to focus on and learn more about. Ooh, okay, swag is coming up as well, and I have not started like on designing these pieces, but I already have in mind something that I'm going to be doing for swag, and swag I believe will come in the signed copies of books that I do. I've also never sold signed copies of my books, so that's a whole nother thing I need to learn. I have to add a store to my online website. I have a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to do, but it would be really cool to have signed swag in the copies of the books that are ordered signed. Can you tell that I'm new to this and that I have a lot to learn? Because I really have a lot to learn. All right, let's see what's coming up. Okay, so one of the things that I need to learn more about is a pre-order campaign. I have seen pre-order campaigns, they seem awesome, I'd like to do one, but I also want to do research on how a pre-order and how pre-order sales affect your release day sales. Because I've heard that on Amazon, you want to sell as many copies as possible on your release day because it bumps you higher in Amazon search results. The more books you sell, if you can kind of ping to Amazon and they see that you're a popular seller on that day, it's more likely for you to get marketed and advertised to other buyers. So I don't know how a pre-sale would affect that. There are some author tubers I know that have done pre-sale, and there are some I know that have not done pre-sale. So I think what I'm going to do is research it, potentially reach out to these other amazing women and authors that I know that have both done pre-sale and have not done pre-sale. What am I saying? Pre-order campaign, pre-sale campaign, whatever it's called. You know what I'm trying to say. So I need to figure out if I'm going to do that or not and how it would affect my sales on release day. If you know anything about this, or if you can kind of send me in the right direction, give me any links that can teach me about this, Please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm kind of going into this not knowing anything and having to learn a lot along the way. All right, now the last thing on my list for now is to start a newsletter. I have heard so many people talking about having like an emailing list, a newsletter, and it's something I would really, really love to do. It's just going to take time for me to actually sit down, learn how to use MailChimp, or whatever program I can utilize to make that happen. I have to be serious about writing a newsletter, about writing a newsletter every month. That's probably how often I would like for it to come out, because at this point I don't think I have enough like flexibility in my schedule to be sending out 2 newsletters a month. So I would aim for 1 newsletter a month / 1 email per month that would go out to my mailing list. This is something that I've wanted to do since October. When I first got my bullet journal, I started bullet journaling back in like end of October, beginning of November, and that was on my to-do list and I never did it. And now we are coming up like 6 or 7 months later. I still have October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 8 months later. It is 8 months later and I still haven't started a newsletter. So that's something I would like to do. Am I going to get around to it eventually? Do I know when that will be? No. All right, my friends, so that is my current to-do list. Now, this to-do list is absolutely subject to change, because as I'm learning new things about how I want to market and promote my book, about how I want to self-publish this time around, this to-do list is changing. So I am really looking forward to sharing more with you as I continue on my journey to self-publication. Again, if you know anything about the kind of questions that I've brought up in this video, it would mean so much to me if you would either leave me a comment down below, DM me on Twitter, just email me if you have to, or use my blogger contact form, because I feel like I'm treading in an ocean of self-publication, and I find little islands every so often where I can take a breather, but then I have to dive back in and I'm like treading water and drinking it all in, and it feels like I'm drowning in all of it. Something that I find incredibly important about this community is that we are teaching each other, and by doing so, we are learning ourselves as well. I sit down in front of this camera and I'm teaching you about what I know, and I'm hoping that in return you will be able to teach me something about what you know, so that we are all growing together. That is something that I really hope to inspire in my little corner of YouTube world. That would mean so, so much. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'm really looking forward to continuing on this self-publication journey. I hope that you will join me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!